This is a tough old place. A lot of history here.
Gary Ballou has won.
Trevor has really flexed his muscles.
They have tried and they have succeeded.
A lifetime is spent for one moment.
Whoa! We've got a real problem now in turn one. Horton hit the wall, just flat, lost it. Tremont slowing. Tremont in trouble in the backstretch again on the last lap.
It can crush dreams.
Or elevate you to a legend.
I mean, to win Syracuse, it's so many great guys have won this. I mean, think of the legends, and here I am.
This is what we dream of.
This is why I race. Everything comes down to Super Derby.
Everything comes down to Syracuse.
The home of the Orange, the Salt City. But for 6 days in October, it becomes the home of race fans and race teams that are looking to have a good time and add their name to an impressive list of winners. It's Super Derby Week 37, and this is the Rite-Aid 200. He is the Advanced Auto Parts Quick Timer out of Edwards, New York, the 2004 winner, Tim Fuller, and next to him, Matt Shepard in the number 9S. Row number 2, five-time winner, Brett Hearn in the number 20 car. Next to him, Jimmy Phelps out of Baldwinsville, New York. He'll start fourth.
Starting in fifth slot, it's the 55 of Mitch Gibbs out of North Norwich, New York, and going beside him is Keith Flack out of Raven, New York. In the seventh spot, it's 34 of Andy Bicchetti, and going eighth in the Steve Holsizer number 88, that's Alan Johnson.
Row number 5, two-time winner Jack Johnson in the number 12A, and right next door to him, his son, Ronnie Johnson. Both of those drivers out of Duanesburg, New York. Row number 6, Billy Dunn out of Watertown, New York, and Kenny Tremont, the 99 winner, will roll off 12th.
Going off in the 13th position is the 88J of J.R. Hefner, and beside him is the 56 of Vinny Vitale out of Phoenix, New York. In the 15th spot, it's Billy Decker, always fast on the mile out of Unadilla, New York, and the 35X of Jason Barney out of Constantia, New York.
Row number 9, Justin Harris in car number 3 will roll off 17th, and next to him, Stuart Friesen in car 44. Row number 10, Dwayne Howard out of Ole, Pennsylvania. He'll start 19th, and next to him, Bobby Barron in car number 1. He'll roll off 20th.
Going in the 21st spot, it'll be the 77X of Dale Plank out of Cortland, New York, and beside him in the 22nd spot, it'll be the 99 of Ryan Phelps. And going 23rd is Gary Tompkins out of Clifton Springs, New York, and going 24th is Ryan Godown.
Row number 13, Donnie Corella, second-generation driver in the number 57. He'll start 25th. And the doctor, Danny Johnson, the 97 and 06 winner, he'll roll off 26th. Row 14, Eddie Marshall out of Ridgefield, Connecticut, will start 27th. And Rick Laubach out of Hellertown, Pennsylvania, he'll roll off 28th.
Going off in the 29th position is the young guy, Larry White, out of Phoenix, New York, and next to him is Mike Parati out of Elizabethtown, New York. Going off 31st is your defending race winner, Vic Coffey out of Leicester, New York. Beside him will be the 53 of Rick Hill.
Row number 17, Frank Cozy out of Wingate, Pennsylvania. He'll start 33rd and starting 34th, the 87 and 94 winner, Jimmy Horton. Row number 18, Sean Reimert out of Ole, Pennsylvania, and David Hebert in number 1H. He'll start 36th.
The 48 car of Dave Rouser goes off 37th, and beside him in the 19H is Chris Higgins out of Syracuse, New York. Going off in the 39th position will be Frankie Capera out of Watertown, New York, and next to him is Brian Schwartzlander out of Leechburg, Pennsylvania.
Row number 21, Steve Payne out of Waterloo. He'll start 41st, starting 42nd. In car 42P, that is Pat Ward. Next row back, Jeff Brownell Jr. in the 29 car and starting 44th, Roy Bresnahan in the 02.
Bringing up the last row of the field will be the 3B of Chad Brockman, and shotgun on the field will be the 66 of Richie Tobias Jr.
Some beautiful shots coming your way today. This one is the Advanced Auto Parts in-car shot provided by Jumpin' Jack Johnson, the 9th place starter. The Rite-Aid in-car cam riding along over the right shoulder of Super Matt Shepard as he starts on the outside of the front row. And the Advanced Auto Parts in-car shot as we ride along with 4th place starter Jimmy Phelps in the 98H. The anticipation is in the air once again as the white flag waves on the richest big block modified race. Final thoughts from pit road. Let's go down to Sarah Jane Hunt and Roger Slack.
Billy Decker starting in 15th today. He won this race here in 2005. In fact, he's in that very same car. He won the 358 race here on Saturday. He's currently leading the points series right now, but he says, you know what, that goes out the window. When you come to Syracuse, it's all about winning. And guys, he certainly knows how to do that.
Defending winner Vic Coffey had a strong run yesterday, finishing second. But today he starts 31st. He plans to get up to the front using pit strategy for the long haul all the way back up to the lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to get things underway. The Vice President of Pharmacy Operations for Rite-Aid, Steve Inserto, waves the green flag, and the Rite-Aid 200 takes the green here on the Moody Mile.
Boy, it looks like they're starting to shake out pretty good in the one. No major issues, a bunch of dust on the bottom there, and hopefully everybody takes their time and, you know, waits this thing out for a few laps.
Everybody clean and green, first time through turn number 1 and 2. The most interesting start of any race here on the mile. 46 cars barreling into turn number 1.
Well, I tell you what, man, their juices are flowing right now. They're trying to keep the nerves down just a little bit so they don't make any mistakes that could take them out of the race in the first lap.
First lap around, and it's going to be Super Matt Shepard. He talked about this earlier with Roger Slack. Wanted to get out in front, wanted to set his own pace. If you were up on the front row like you were back in 01, Tim, is this what you would want to do?
I think he did exactly the same way I would do it. You get out there and you're going to run hard for 5 or 6 laps just to see what your car's got, because you're going to have to pit sooner or later, and if you don't run hard a little bit, you're not going to know what to change. So he's going to run hard a little bit and maybe then lay back, and then they're going to cruise until it's time to pit for the first pit stop.
You know as well as I do, Tim Fuller, Matt Shepard, they're good buddies. They talk to each other quite a bit, spend a lot of time at the races talking to one another. Do you think that Superman looked over at Tim, or maybe before the race started, and said, listen, this is what I'm going to do? Tim maybe just sat back a little bit and said, okay, I'm going to let you go.
I doubt he wanted to let him go. I mean, we got a lot of bravado, all of us drivers, and I'm sure Fuller wanted to be out there leading these laps and running hard in front of the field, pacing the way he wants to pace it, but unfortunately Matt just put it on him in the first straightaway.
Bobby Varon in the number 1 car right there in the middle of your screen as he races down the back straightaway. And he has a few cars in front of him. That's Dwayne Howard in the number 4 car, working the bottom side as the 77. That's a Dale Plank looking to establish something on the top side.
I'll tell you what, right there, that's the first signs of an outside condition that we've seen in the last 3-4 days. That's Dale Plank just above the rubber with his left rear, and he looks like he's going to be able to make the move on the 4 car.
If he stays out there, what can we expect to see? More cars go out there, and if we do see more cars, what can we expect the track to do?
All these guys got radios in, and they don't miss a trick with their spotters. Their spotter will tell them, hey, this guy's made a bunch of moves on the outside, 2 lanes higher than you're running, and the next thing you know, half the field will be up there. So it's going to look like it's going to be a multi-group track today, which is going to be great.
Sunny skies, multiple racing grooves right now as the field continues on. Dwayne Howard running back there in position number 18 with the number 4 car. That's the Shad Sign-and-Own ride. Back up in front, that's number 20, a 5-time winner, Brett Hearn, currently showing in position number 4. And he has Keith Flack out of Ravenna, New York, who was a bit of surprise in the top 6 for time trials here on Thursday.
Yeah, he surprised everybody by busting off them 2 fast laps like he did, but it looks like he's up here and he's going to run this race. And that's a little tough for Brett right now to have a young guy on his tail, probably wanting to push Brett a little bit faster than Brett wants to run at this point.
A little bit tough for Brett Hearn at this point, but how good is that to have Brett Hearn in front of a driver like Keith Flack, who has limited experience here on the mile?
I'm sure his guys were saying, just follow Brett and just watch how he does it. He's won this race so many times, and is not a better guy to learn from than somebody like that. And take your time, watch what he's doing, learn his lines, and then take advantage of him later in the race.
That's right. You might as well follow one of the best in the business, 5-time winner of the Rite-Aid 200 here on the mile, Brett Hearn, in that Madison Motorsports number 20. And as we look out, we start to see the field starting to string out just a little bit.
Yeah, these guys are going to try to calm down, but the guys from about 20th on back, they've got a race because it looks like Matt's starting to pull out to a real big lead on Tim Fuller, and he's going to start putting some of these heavy hitters down laps early if they don't get going.
And that's exactly why he wants to get out in front. The more cars you put down early, the less you have to race with later on.
Yep, because the way they're going to do this thing, the lap cars will go to the inside after halfway, and then you'll be able to line up nose to tail and be able to dispense some guys a little bit quicker. So if you can put a guy like Toby Tobias down or some of them other guys that got some shot at winning this race, that's what you try to do early.
2 cars doing battle here. That's the 35 of Jason Barney out of Costanza, New York. Vinny Vitale in the number 56 machine, swinging it through turns number 1 and 2. Jason Barney was the 2007 Rookie of the Race in the Holbrook Motorsports machine.
Yeah, Jason Barney limited racing this year in the modified. He's been concentrating on some sprint car racing, and he comes back to the mile. They put this team together. They were strong last year, and it looks like they're going really good today.
You've done a variety of racing in your career, Tim. How difficult is it to jump from one car to another in different classes? In particular, your experience with the late models and the modifieds.
It's, you know, it takes a few laps no matter what you do. It's really hard because you're focusing on late models, or you're focusing on modifieds, and whichever seems to run better, you don't focus on the other one as fast, and that sometimes gets you in trouble. But if you have a good team behind you, like Jason Barney obviously does with a 35 car, they can put it together.
One car on the move right now, that is Richie Toby Tobias Jr. He is in the number 66 car. He started last on the field, started 46, currently up to position number 36. Talk about a guy that's versatile on any racing surface or in any race car. Tobias is the man.
He's another guy that's run a bunch of different cars. He's run some USAC Silver Crown cars at this speedway, and I think it's taught him that you don't have to run on the rubber all the time. Maybe you can get wide and make a move, and he's exciting to watch. We were talking before we went green how many would he pass in a lap, and he's got about 9 to 10 already.
And Tobias was one of those drivers that was happy to see him working on the top side of the speedway. We've got a car in trouble midway down the back straightaway. One car slowing. Looks like some front end damage. And that's Vic Coffey.
Vic Coffey looks like he's got right front suspension damage, like the axles broke or something. Boy, it's a tough break this early in the race. I don't know if he got into somebody or what happened.
Rick Hill, the other car in the number 53, slowing here on the speedway as well. But the defending Rite-Aid 200 champion, broken front end. Tim, what do you see here?
I'd say it's looks like a broke spindle or the axles broke. He must have really got into somebody down the backstretch to have that kind of damage. That usually doesn't, especially at this place, you usually don't get something like that unless you have some major contact.
Vic Coffey, a two-time Rite-Aid 200 winner here on the mile. Matt Shepard, Tim Fuller, Jimmy Phelps, Brett Hearn, and Keith Black are your top 5. More from the Rite-Aid 200 here on Speed in just a moment. Welcome back to Syracuse, New York. It's the Rite-Aid 200 here on Speed. Shane Andrews, Tim McCready, Sarah Jane Hunt, Roger Slack here with us today. Our first caution of the day for defending Rite-Aid 200 winner Vic Coffey. And something happening in the front end, Tim.
Yeah, we couldn't tell if there was some contact out there or not, but it looks like he's got a broke spindle because the right front's all twisted up, and he's got no steering when it does that, so he's pretty well going to be done for the day.
And a tough break because this race is so big for these modified drivers, and to come out in this event to have a good car that he has won with in the past and then to fall out this early, it's just disappointing. Roger Slack is in the pits. He has more.
Yeah, we're down here and they're taking a look at it, but Vic is unbuckling, and a lot of suspension damage there on the right front. Tommy Greco looking at it, but Vic is unbuckling and smiling, but he says he's done.
We're ready to go back to green. Matt Shepard, Tim Fuller, Jimmy Phelps, Brett Hearn, and Keith Black, your top 5. We will have 16 in the record books of this Rite-Aid 200 as Super Matt Shepard out of Waterloo, New York leads the charge down into turn number 1 and 2. And look at this, Jack Johnson going 3 wide up into turn number 1.
Boy, that Jack, he said he was going to be calm and ride a little bit and conserve, but it didn't look like that when he drove that thing down into turn 1, did it?
No, it didn't whatsoever. Two-time winner, 79 and 84 for Jumpin' Jack out of Duanesburg, New York. Somebody bobbles just a little bit there. As we look down towards turn number 4, we see a little bit of dust in the air, but that's eventually going to blow off as the race continues on.
Yeah, it's more of a bunch of cars getting all stopped up together. Oh, we got a slow car down the backstretch. It's the 66, Richie Tobias.
Tough break.
Looks like he got into the wall coming out of turn 2 or something. He's just off the pace, and he did the biggest mover at the beginning of this race, passing 11 cars in the first 5 laps, and it looks like he might be able to bring out a yellow or get off. He might get off the track. He's kind of just riding around on the cushion.
I asked Toby where he's been all weekend. He says, I had other things going on, and yesterday I was up here running a slingshot race in central New York. I looked at the non-qualifiers list and saw if there was anybody on there that I might be able to get a ride from, and he saw Vince Gagliardo's car and name on there, gave him a call, and was able to get this ride, and it looks like he's about to go a lap down. Yeah,
it's really unfortunate. He's really off the pace. He might have something a little bit more than just a knock into the wall or something like that, because he's kind of off the pace and just riding along on the bottom. He maybe dropped the cylinder, and it just doesn't look good for their team today.
Dale Plank in the 77X just drove around the 88 of Alan Johnson. So the driver out of Homer, New York, started 21st and has already made his way up through the field to position number 9. So he's got a stout piece underneath him.
Yeah, we watched him earlier. He made a move on the outside of 3 and 4. It looks like he might have been the first guy to find this rubber. Like we were saying earlier, as this track gets wider and rubber's wider, you'll be able to move out and race all over it and then start diamonding off the corner and getting straight shots off. And it looks like Dale's got one of the cars that could be right up front at the end of this thing.
Started 21st, currently 9th in that Kerry Terrence Own 77X, a 3-time winner on the Advanced Auto Parts Modified Super Dirt Car Series for 2008. They have really come together a team, and once you get that first series win, that really gives you some confidence, doesn't it?
I know exactly what he's going through. There were some races that we struggled at, and then all of a sudden you get one in the bank, and the next thing you know, the other ones come a little bit easier. And that team right there has been really put together the last couple of years and gotten stronger and stronger, and it's just starting to show at a place like this that they're in the game.
And he is bearing down on Jack Johnson in the orange number 12A, the Frank Witz owned ride. Jumping Jack right there in front of Dale Plank's number 77X. Now, is Dale Plank using too much early on, as he is charging from 21st and he's going after 8th place?
Well, I mean, he had to early. Like I said, you don't want to sit and ride 20th on back, because that's when you start getting lapped and guys are going to try to put good cars a lap down. Now that he's gotten in the 9th, who knows what he's going to do once you get charged, and sometimes it's hard to turn that switch back into ride mode. So we'll see what happens when he gets to Jack's back bumper.
Matt Shepard continues to lead here on the Moody Mile. When we come back, more from the Rite-Aid 200 here on Speed. Welcome back here to the Rite-Aid 200 in Syracuse, New York. Leader Matt Shepard is in traffic, and Tim Fuller, the second place car number 19, is starting to close the gap.
I know 29 laps into this race, and they're already encountering lap traffic, and that's going to be tough for these leaders, because some of these guys are having handling issues in the back of this pack, and they're a little off the pace, like 7, 8, 9 tenths off the pace, and let's see how these guys pick through these guys.
Roy Bresnahan in the 0-2, just falling down one to the left counter to the race leader, Matt Shepard, out of Waterloo, New York. The Jeff Brown now owned at number 29, or the number 9S machine. And Tim Fuller trying to keep the pace with him, and Matt right now just picking and choosing where he needs to be.
Tim Fuller started catching him right there before they got into lap traffic on open running, and now they've entered lap traffic, and it really looks like Matt's car is a little more versatile, like he can move up and move high because he's put 2, 3 cars in between him, and he's starting to pull back away.
Lap traffic, where would you rather be? In front or in second place?
Oh, it's tough. Here I'd like to be in front, because if it does lock down one lane, you don't want to let anybody by. It's easier to lead sometimes here. On a short track, sometimes it's better to be second, but this place, it throws so many curveballs at you. Sometimes it's a coin flip.
That second groove really starting to develop now, in particular in turns number 1 and 2. And Jason Barney, some rear end damage on that number 35 machine, and sheet metal all torn up as he battles with the 3 of Justin Harris.
Yeah, it looks like he had to have gotten in the wall off of one of these corners there. He has some severe back end damage. The rear spoiler's knocked off of it, and he's got bumpers dragging on the tires, and it's not going to be long before he's got a blown tire, or he's going to have to pull it in the pits.
And he is pulling up on the top side in turn number 1 and 2, and we are under caution here on lap number 32. Jason Barney bringing out the caution, trying to get down to the low side of the speedway to possibly pull off the racing surface and onto the back straightaway cinder track, and he will do so, but the caution comes out.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Barney. I know they had high hopes here. They got a really good team, a well-funded team at this place with some good engines, and getting to the wall like that this early, boy, that's a tough break.
A tough break down in the pit area. Standing by in the pits with the 12A is Sarah Jane Hunt.
That's right, Jack Johnson. Day it ends early. Apparently, a water pump broke, all the water came out, and the motor just let go. Very disappointing. One thing I also want to point out, when he pulled in, a lot of guys, including like Andy Bicchetti's team, came over and they were checking out the tires. So some guys might be worried about that situation as well here today.
Thank you, Sarah. Jumpin' Jack Johnson, 2-time winner here on the mile out of the 37th edition of the Rite-Aid 200. Well, we are under caution for the second time here today, and you can see the Moody Mile. It's a beautiful day. A lot of people enjoying this 37th edition of the Rite-Aid 200. More from Syracuse when we return. Welcome back to the Moody Mile, Syracuse, New York, the 37th edition of the Rite-Aid 200. Well, things are starting to take a twist here on the mile. Caution came out for Jason Barney in the number 35 machine as he backed it into the wall. And when the caution lights came on, wholesale pit stops as pit road was open. Tim Fuller in the number 19, he took on a right rear tire and a full tank of fuel as his crew pushes him off. Billy Decker, the number 91, also took on fuel and a tire. Jimmy Phelps under power as well at the conclusion of this first round of pit stops. 44 laps are in the record books, and Matt Shepard wasting no time once again, bringing the field into turn number 1 in a scramble for position behind them.
Yeah, you see 3 cars go 3 wide, and you got Billy Decker now up here in the mix trying to improve his position to get up there and get on the strategy he really wanted to be on from the beginning of this race.
2 groups to use down that very narrow back straightaway. You can see everybody slicing and dicing, and some of that aerodynamics coming into play as everybody moves around looking for clean air.
Yes, the back stretch is really narrow at this place. The front stretch, you could probably run 5, 6, 7, 8 cars wide. But down that back stretch, it really narrows up into 3, and there's a lot of give and take out here because of the mere fact you don't want to bang wheels, you don't want to have contact. It's going to result in a bad day for everybody.
Dale Plank in that 77X still using that top side to his liking. The driver out of Homer, New York on the move as he sits back in 21st position as he is trying to mount a charge to the front as we look at the number 88 of Alan Johnson. That is the green and black car now. AJ was the guaranteed 8th place starter here by virtue of winning the Rolling Wheels 200 a few weeks ago. Didn't bring his own car, didn't have a ride here. Steve Hulsizer didn't qualify this ride through the non-qualifiers event, so they said, hey, Alan, how would you like to drive it?
And that's what's so great about Alan Johnson, that he's one of the few guys who can jump in about any guy's car in the pit and make it competitive. And he's had a couple ride issues this year, and some of the teams he drove for didn't really want to come to the mile, and he was guaranteed the 8th spot, and Steve and him hooked up after the non-qualifiers race, and here they are. What
amazes me about this run that Alan Johnson is having right now, Tim, is he didn't even practice this car. He literally got into this ride before the start of the 200.
And I know that's a weird deal because as nervous as you are at the beginning of this race in your own stuff, just imagine how nervous you could be jumping in somebody's car that you never even sat in and then had to go out there and try to run well over 100, 130, 140 miles an hour around a real narrow track like this.
Alan Johnson, a 2-time Rite-Aid 200 winner, winning this event back, actually 3-time, winning it in 83, 89, and in 2003. And we have Ryan Godown slowing in the number 26 car as we will be under caution once again as we are on lap number 48 of the Rite-Aid 200. Pit stops as the leader, Matt Shepard, dives down pit lane and Alan Johnson follows him in. Let's go down to Sarah Jane Hunt.
Guys, Alan Johnson is coming into the pits for the first time today. And like you guys were talking about, he's in Steve Holzheiser's car and he's got Steve Holzheiser's crew going to work here. They're going to fill up with fuel, of course, and it looks like they're going to change both rear tires. They jacked that car up, and they should be good to go. Let's go over to Roger.
Yeah, leader Matt Shepard, they've changed both rear tires, lots of fuel, big splash. The 43 car also in, sliding in. They are having trouble on pit road with the 43.
Matt Shepard pitting all the way down towards turn number 4, Tim. Alan Johnson all the way down in turn number 1. So different pit strategies, and the guys that time in the top 6 here at the Speedway during qualifying get to choose their pit stalls. Matt Shepard back out onto the Speedway after his pit stop, surrendering the lead on lap number 49 as we are 51 laps in the record books. When we return, more from the Moody Mile here in Syracuse. It's the Rite-Aid 200 on Speed. David Hebert leads the way with Gary Tompkins, Justin Harris, Tim Fuller, and Ryan Phelps. Now your top 5, Pat Ward, Ronnie Johnson, Billy Decker, Dale Plank, and J.R. Hefner completing your top 10. And Tim Fuller pitted early, now back up to position number 4.
Yep, the pit stops have started to cycle around. There's still a few guys that haven't pitted yet, but right now Fuller has cycled back up into the top 5, and he's going to try to do his strategy. He's looking at one more stop all the way to the house.
Nobody's going to be able to go on one stop, although we have seen it done in the past. Billy Decker did it one year.
Yeah, we had a weather issue one year, and it looked like it might rain. Everybody stayed out as long as they could, and unfortunately, sooner or later, you got to come down pit road. Lap 91 or 92, I believe, he pitted, and he made it the rest of the way. With 1 tires, 200 laps, it was definitely a different deal.
Optimally, what is the best you can get out of a big block around in this mile? How many laps?
Well, I mean, it's been done. It's been 115, 116 laps done. The norm, anywhere from 100 to 105, but some of these guys, they've gotten really good at being smooth on the throttle, not using gas during the yellows, and smaller carburetors to do things to try to get their fuel mileage way up.
Tim Fuller out of Edwards, New York, a regular on the World of Outlaws late model series as he runs back in position number 4. A former winner of this great event back in 2004, and he was the Advanced Auto Parts quick timer for locking in the top 6. So no stranger on getting around this mile, and here's a driver that would like to see himself in victory lane once again.
Yeah, he's been here many years, and he knows how to get it done. It's a real good team he's got surrounded around him with good guys. He's probably just trying to be smooth right now, and he knows he's ahead of all the cycled cars that he's racing, and the 3 guys in front of him, he can let them go because they're going to pit sooner or later.
You can see the advantage. Gary Tompkins, Justin Harris running back there in position number 2 and 3. Have over Tim Fuller and Rocket, Ryan Phelps, the Rocket out of Baldwinsville, New York, not too far away here from the New York State Fairgrounds, running back there in position number 5. Here's a full-time school teacher that runs on the Advanced Auto Parts Modified Super Dirt Car Series, and we've got Gary Tompkins braking in turn number 1.
It looks like he might have had something terminal go down to just pull up high and just ride around the outside like he has. He's either got a motor issue or something going bad because he hasn't pulled off the speedway. He's just kind of taking it easy.
Gary Tompkins out of Clifton Springs, New York, runner-up to Tim Fuller in the 2004 version of the Rite-Aid 200 as he slows for our 6th caution of the day here on lap number 70.
That's a tough break for Gary. I know they put a lot of effort into their team, which everybody does, but this is one of the teams that are in the top 5 in points most of the year and usually have a good shot at this race, and it's a tough day to be out that early.
New colors, new sponsor on the car for the number 84 of Gary Tompkins, and you know as well as I do, especially yourself, Tim, being a driver in this event, that when you come to Syracuse, it's usually all brand new equipment.
Yeah, and it's good and bad. You need to have new stuff because when you get on a track that's this big, you need to have tight equipment. You don't need wheel shakes. You don't need play in the steering wheel, and you don't need the body to flap around because then it just makes these cars a handful to hang on to.
And pit road is open as we will have 71 laps in the record books as the leader will cross the start-finish line, but it looks like our leader will not be David Hebert.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to come down pit road and relinquish the lead to Justin Harris. Justin's going to stay on the track. Thought Justin might pit with him. He just pulled out and stayed on the track.
Roger Slack is pit side. Roger, what do you have?
We've got David Hebert coming in. They are going obviously with fuel. They are changing both rear tires, and now Hearn is in.
Frank Cozy in the number 44 out of Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, sliding to a stop, setting himself up for a quick exit as the crew goes to work, giving him a full tank of fuel and a right rear sneaker. Brett Hearn, he gets pushed off as he looks to get out of the pits before David Hebert, but that will not happen, and Frank Cozy will follow those 2 drivers down pit road. An awful long ways to go on lap number 71. Can they make it the distance? More from Syracuse when we return. Back to the Moody Mile here in Syracuse in New York for the Rite-Aid 200 on speed. A capacity crowd on hand, Tim, watching all of this strategy play out. And we're still not done with the strategy. Brett Hearn looking to try something different. Multiple pit stops to top off with racing fuel.
He's got a lot of fuel on board. He's going to need maybe 2 to 3, 4 seconds if he comes in again, and that might get him some track position. Tim Fuller, on the other hand, he's got to come in. He might take 2 cans. Now that's going to make him sit in there for 15, 16 seconds, and it's going to be real interesting to see what happens because there's probably 25 cars in between them when they come in.
More on Tim Fuller's pit. Let's go to Sarah Jane Hunt.
Strategy, of course, is what we've been talking about, and you know what? Most of the time it's secret. What I could get out of smoke, the crew chief down here for Tim Fuller, is they plan to come in on lap 80 under green for their final fuel stop. Said if there's a caution in there, all could change, but right now, that is the plan down here in the 19.
Wow, coming in under green to pit. That is really pushing the limit and the envelope here on the mile.
And that strategy probably has changed since the beginning of the race after monitoring what Brett Hearn and some of the other teams, Alan Johnson, has done by topping off like that. They might be sitting ducks if they come in under yellow, so now they got to take a chance, even though they're up front of the field, to try to stay ahead of those cars.
Billy Decker in that number 91, we look at him and his progression here on the Speedway. He is riding back there in position number 5, the driver out of Unadilla, New York, a 4-time winner of this event. The last time he picked up the win was 2005. Interesting enough, on a day like today, but it wasn't in October, it was actually in the month of November.
Yeah, he had a, we got yellow on the track.
Caution lights coming on as Chad Brockman has slowed in turn number 2. The driver of the number 3B out of Wheatfield, New York, bringing out the caution.
Looks like he might have an issue like Gary Tompkins or some of these other guys have had, maybe a motor failure or a rear end failure. He's just stopped up in turn 2.
81 laps are in the books and pit road is open. Roger Slack, more action in the 20 pit. What do you have?
Hurd is starting to pull in now. Matt Shepard is in first. And he is going to end up, he's going to block Hearn's entrance to his pit area. So watch that. But fuel only for Shepard. That's his second stop. Sarah Jane.
Tim Fuller is down in the pits, and like we said, strategy out the window. They come in under caution. They put 1 can of fuel in. Interesting, they had the second can ready to go, but they did not take it.
Tim Fuller able to beat everybody off of the pit lane. Actually, no, it was Billy Decker in the number 91. So the Franklin Flyer, once again, using that strategy. And Ronnie Johnson has stalled here in the middle of pit road.
And here's what we talk about, this narrow pit road. Guys got to watch out and be safe on this thing right now.
Sarah Jane, you're down there by the 2 crew.
Yeah, Ronnie Johnson came out of his pit stall, and like we've talked about all day, a lot of traffic in here. He got close to a couple of guys, and he had to stop, and when he stopped, it looked like the call just stopped on him. The crew's down here now, and they'll try to push him around.
They better hurry up, Sarah, as the pace car and the leader of the race bearing down on them, and the crew pushing frantically to get that number 2 car to fire up, and he comes to a stop as race leader Justin Harris comes across the start-finish line to click off lap 83, and RJ gets it fired back up.
Boy, that's a tough situation there. It looks like they had a few guys from another pit team help them out, and it just goes to show you there is a lot of camaraderie down here, and there's a few more guys over the wall that maybe should have been there, but they got the car running. He's back on the speedway.
Ronnie Johnson able to get the 2 car fired back up. How will he fare for the rest of the Rite-Aid 200? Stick around to find out. More from Syracuse when we return. Welcome back to the Moody Mile as we are set to get things back underway. As we are on lap number 93, Dale Plank had to come into the pit area for a stop and go penalty. Danny Johnson in the 66 car and his brother Alan Johnson in the 88 car both came in for a top off of racing fuel. Wow, Tim, this is what I love about Syracuse. The drama, the excitement, the strategy. It's a 140-mile-an-hour game of chess with the big block modifieds.
Boy, I'll tell you what, these ration cautions have brought everybody in and out of the pits. You don't normally see this here. This is a unique race this year. It's getting crazy.
Everybody in racing that gets behind the wheel of a race car is an innovator. These guys are trying something different every year. What's next to try for strategy?
I don't think we've seen this many fuel stops, guys topping off and doing what they're doing. It puts guys in different situations. I think you're going to see some hard racing way earlier than we normally see it.
Matt Shepard in that number 9S, Tim Fuller in the number 19 machine, and they are battling back there. Fuller riding in position number 14 right now. As he works his way into turn number 1 and 2, he is going after the 55 of Mitch Gibbs, who sits back in position number 11 as Fuller's now up to 12th.
This track has really widened out. It hasn't been like this in the last few years, and it's starting to make some guys be able to move around. You see Fuller, he's really starting to shape the car and run harder than he probably wanted, for the mere fact that when him and Billy pitted, Billy beat him off the pits, and we haven't seen Billy Decker much all day, and next thing you know, there he is in front of the guys that pitted for their last stop.
Important passes being made in traffic right now by Billy Decker and Tim Fuller. As the pits start the cycle again, these guys could be making the passes that are going to put them in victory lane.
The good thing about this track right now is for the guys that did pit late, they can pass. Billy right now, he's doing what he's got to do. He knows who's behind him that thinks they can go the rest of the way. He's put Fuller behind him. He's put a couple of our cars behind him. Now he's just going to make sure that they don't come back and try to get by him.
And Billy Decker, the winner of that Syracuse 150 and the 358 modifieds during this 37th edition of Super Dirt Week, used that same exact strategy pitting early and then making passes when it counted. And Dale Plank is off the pace. Plank in the 77X, who had pitted on lap number 90 for a tire and gas, is off the pace.
He had an issue. He come out the wrong side of pit road, and as you seen when he did come out, he slammed down real hard and kicked a bunch of clay and stuff up in the air. And who knows what that might have done. It might have broken an axle or broke a torque arm off his car, and it might put him behind the wall.
That exit over there in turn number 1 that he did go off inadvertently hasn't been used all week, so maybe something doing some damage there to the 77X machine. Justin Harris continues to lead. Vinny Vitale right there in the number 56 car. He is running in second as they bring their way off of corner number 4. This is going to be the 100 lap bonus, the Dig Safely 100 lap bonus, $5,000. Justin Harris just padded his bank accounts.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way you do it. If you think you don't have a shot at winning this, you got to change your strategy up a little bit. They thought they might not be able to win it. They thought they could lead halfway, so they're trying to get that money.
Always nice to walk out of Super Dirt Week with $5,000 extra. And of course, anytime you can walk out of Super Dirt Week making money is always a good thing.
Exactly. This place is so tough on the people, the fans, and everything else that's going on here. We're wore down right now. We're excited, but we're wore down, and that money is going to go to a good use for later on this year or just towards whatever they're going to do in the off season for cars and stuff.
Vinny Vitale still trailing Justin Harris by about 0.7 of a second right now as they make their way down the back straightaway in a car in trouble. That is Alan Johnson up in turn number 3 and 4. AJ Slideways, a flat left front.
We saw that issue yesterday in the 358 race. Guys were having problems with left front flats. Man, right in front of the field again. There is some stuff happening out there today with spotters. That's usually not what happens with these guys.
Wow, that was too close for comfort. Our latest caution, Alan Johnson shooting into the pits in front of the leaders, Justin Harris. Wow, he had to take invasive action as AJ, a 3-time winner of this Rite-Aid 200, comes to a stop in his pit stall to get his left front taken care of. A barrel ride for AJ here today as we take a look. Oh, so close, just missing the leaders. Well, Justin Harris is just about ready to dive down into the pit lane. They are talking strategy on the radio right now. He is going to make the sharp left into the pit area. Justin Harris, the driver of the number 3, gives up the lead. He will hit his pit stall. Sarah Jane Hunt is there.
He pulls into his pit and his shoe is over the wall. Looks like they are going to take just a right rear tire. Oh, I correct myself. They're going to take both rear tires. Fill the car up with fuel. This team is very excited. They got to the halfway point, so they've got already what they wanted to do. Is successful here today.
And they're having trouble getting the car in gear. We can hear them saying they need to rock it, Tim.
It sounds like he's stuck in high gear. That's what he said on the radio. Yeah, he's stuck in high gear. He's trying to roll it on the starter to get it going. Looks like he made it out okay.
Good job, guys. Good job, man. Good job.
Justin Harris pitting on lap number 103. Also coming in on the into the pit area is Jimmy Phelps in the number 98 H-Ride.
It looks like they're going under the hood of that car. They might have some engine problems, whether it's overheating or terminal. It looks like they might be done for the day.
We are going to go to break as they take a look to see what's happening with the 98H. More from Syracuse when we return. Welcome back to the Moody Mile, Syracuse, New York. The Rite-Aid 200, 129 laps will be in the books as we get the green, but problems for 6th place car Tim Fuller. Something not right on the right rear.
Yeah, he made some communications to his crew guys that the right rear feels a little bouncy, and as you can see, he's definitely got something wrong with the car because he's got some wheel hop off this right rear, and it's going to be real hard to hang on to. It looks like the shock has broke off the right rear suspension.
Not the place where you want to have an ill-handling car, and that is the mile here in Syracuse. As he runs in 6th, he has Matt Shepard right there with him, and look at the scramble in front of him. David Hebert, your 5th place car, looking to make something happen as they head to turn number 3.
Yeah, some of these guys are starting to get a little dicey because they know that Billy's going to try to do his deal, and they need to try to get back in front of him or hold him back if they have a shot at winning this thing.
Billy Decker putting himself in prime position as he runs in position number 3. You see him right there, heading into turn number 1, the red and yellow car right in front of the number 84 of Gary Tompkins as they run back in position number 3 and 4 as Frank Cozy out of Wingate, Pennsylvania leads this event.
Yeah, Frank Cozy's out there leading with Rick Lawback in second, and these guys are looking like they're trying to do something different. I don't know if it was something they've got gas mileage to go the rest of the way or what they're looking at, but they're running pretty hard right now.
Strategies are aplenty here at Syracuse. For more on our leaders, let's go down to Roger Slack.
Yeah, Frank Cozy, they pitted at 70, and they are going. They are leaving it up to Frank's right foot to make it all the way. Lawback, they pitted on lap 62. They said they've been here all week long. They're not playing any mind games with anybody. They are going for it.
Boy, that's a long ways to have to go. 138 laps, 130 laps. We've never seen anything like that here, Tim. Could this be a year when maybe we do see that kind of fuel mileage?
Boy, I don't know. I guess I haven't been here in the last couple of years and done my homework. That seems like it's a stretch in my mind. I know what Cozy's doing. He struggled early. He made a few pit stops early, mid-race, you know, early stages. He's rolling the dice because he's finally up front. And he's like, let's do it. We'll try to roll the dice. We're not for points. We're racing for a big win, and that's why he's trying to get this win.
Did he bring a big motor, though, that's going to use a lot of juice? Because you have to find that balance between the big motor and the fuel mileage.
Well, you know, you always try to bring your best motor here no matter what you do, and maybe his best motor might not be as good as some of these other top competitive teams this year. Usually he's right up front. He was off a little bit in qualifying, and he may have just worked on mileage the rest of the week, and just he's been laying in the wings, and he cycled to the front. And he's rolling the dice. The guy behind him, Rick Lawback, really rolling the dice, and Billy's still sitting, in my mind, in the best spot.
Smoke coming off the back end of the number 91. Is that what I thought I saw? We'll have to keep our eye on that. Maybe it was a little body rub, a little tire roll.
It might be a little tire smoke because this track does have a lot of rubber in it. With these holes and stuff, you're going to get a lot of roll on the body, and it's going to maybe just rub a little bit and get some smoke.
Well, the front two cars may be rolling the dice, but right now Billy Decker is holding the cards. Because if something happens to either one of those two cars in front of him, Billy Decker is in position to be able to go the rest of the distance without having to stop again, and that's exactly what he and his crew wanted.
They put him in a great spot. He's actually slowed the pace. They've all slowed the pace down right now, the first 4 or 5 cars to about the 32.6s, 32.7s. When earlier in the day they were running 30.9, so they're almost 2 seconds slower than what they were running earlier, and that's why they're going to try to save fuel is just by slowing everybody down all the way around the track.
Matt Shepard started on the outside of the front row, fell back as far as 32nd. Now holding on to position number 7, led early on in this event as he chases after the number 1 of David Amer and the number 84 of Gary Tompkins. Super Matt looking for his first Rite-Aid 200 win.
We've said before, he gets out front, he runs too hard, he's run the tires off the car, he's had some issues like that, and now he's in a different spot. He has to run hard because he's in 6th or 5th, and he's got to try to chase down this 91 car, and that's who he wants to be, hoping that the 2 guys in front of him run out of gas.
Sarah Jane Hunt is in the 91 pit with an update. What do you have, Sarah?
Just talked to Scott Jeffries, and they are not very happy down here. They're pretty sure that they are losing the motor on that 91 car, Billy Decker.
Well, I thought I saw a little puff of smoke, but you know, Tim, it could have been anything like we thought, the body roll, tire rubber, whatever. And Billy Decker obviously communicating with his crew. That's got to be a sickening feeling.
Ride it out, run it what we got to do.
You listen to the spotters and them talking back and forth. He can't really tell if it's the motor or the rear end. As Scotty says, we're going to take it to the end, and it's amazing. This is one of them places where, you know what? Just run it. You want to win so bad that you just take any chance you got. If you got to hurt a motor to do it, that's what we'll do at this place.
Following the tour as the Big Block Modified Series tour for the last 3 years, Billy Decker is one of the most intense competitors I have ever met. He always has that look in his eye that he's holding 4 aces, but you don't know it.
He's a very intense competitor. You're right. He has struggled a little bit at the beginning of the week with this Big Block car, and boy, he was downright miserable to be around, and he's just like a lot of us. When you put that much effort into something and you want to win that bad, sometimes it's hard to take a step back and say, you know, I've been running 5th, second a lot. I've won this race so many times. Maybe it's time to take a step back and look at that, but we don't do that. We're only looking at what's ahead all the time, and I know he's right now thinking, man, hold this thing together for the last bunch of laps so we can win this thing.
It's been a great year on the tour for Billy Decker. He is tied with Brett Hearn for the single season win record, the most with 10. If he won today, he would have his 11th, which would put him all by his lonesome in the record books. And he is also looking to become the third different driver here at Super Dirt Week to win both the 358 modified race and the Rite-Aid 200 in the same year. Brett Hearn did it in 1990. Danny Johnson did it 2 years ago in 2006.
Yeah, that's a tough deal. Those are two of the biggest names in our sport, and what they're going to do, he's going to keep running and keep running. And usually when you win that small block race for a while, it had been kind of a hex that it didn't have no luck in the big block race, but those two guys are doing it, and hopefully Billy can get it too.
Top 5 on lap 140, Frank Cozy, Rick Laubach, Billy Decker, and Gary Tompkins. More drama and excitement from Syracuse when we return. Welcome back to the Moody Mile, the Rite-Aid 200, and we are under caution on lap number 143 for this driver. Pat Ward slowed on the back straightaway while he was running in the 10th position. He had moved up from the 42nd starting position, and Pat Ward slowing on the backstretch, but he gets it fired back up.
Yeah, he's going around right now. He's probably going to have to come into pits, and that's a tough break, starting that far back and making all the way up through into a top 10 position. That's an amazing feat in itself, and right now he's going to have to figure out what's wrong with his car.
Sarah Jane Hunt is in the pit area. She has been with the number 91 crew. They saw some smoke earlier. Sarah, what do you have?
Okay, with Scott Jeffries, crew chief, what's going on right now in the car?
We seem to lost a cylinder in the engine. Right now we're just kind of holding on to what we got. Luckily right now the pace is pretty slow. We can maintain, but it's just a guessing game whether it's going to last in whatever the end of the race is or if it's going to blow up completely.
Okay, right now all they can do is sit and watch and see if that engine does maintain through 200 laps here.
Obviously, we're going to wait and see if that engine can hold on for the full distance of this race, Tim. But he is in prime position right now as the two cars in front of him still trying to stretch that fuel mileage. Does he really need to push the car that hard? Can he keep that motor underneath him?
Well, he's going to try his best, but unfortunately, when you do drop a cylinder, the speed down the straightaways is going to come way down because it just doesn't run the way it's supposed to. And he might end up using a little bit more fuel mileage just for the mere fact that he's going to have to use more throttle to keep the car at the same speed. And if the pace stays where they were talking about, he might be okay. But if some guys start really pushing it, he's not going to have the motor to go down the straightaways. He might be a sitting duck.
Frank Cozy, the race leader. Rick Laubach running back there in position number 2. They're trying to stretch it for 125 plus laps. Billy Decker's down a cylinder. He's trying to hold on.
Yeah, this race is really taxing on all the equipment, all the guys, everybody here. And right now, it's almost lap 150. It's about time for everybody to show all their cards and start going all out.
And it's going to be coming down to crunch time, as you said. Is the 150 mark, as a driver, when you talk to your crews and you set up the strategy for the race, that 150 mark, is that where you say, okay, we really start to put the pressure on everybody?
Well, you just know that it's winding down. It's been a long day. It's starting to get, you know, mid-afternoon, and you just can't wait around until 10-15 to go to start putting moves on guys. So sooner or later you got to do it, and lap 50 just seems to be the natural flow of the race to start running really hard.
Take us through the emotions of this race. Obviously the first few laps, all the drama, the excitement, and then what happens after that? We hit the mid-race point, everybody kind of falls into a flow, but now it's time to start putting the crunch on.
Oh, it's a constant roller coaster ride here. You have highs of leading some laps early and running as hard as you can and really gripping the wheel and getting your elbows up, and then you're like, whoa, we got to back down. You can't run this hard for 200 laps. And then you do that for a while, and then sooner or later somebody calls you on the radio and says, hey, you're going to wake up and start going again? And that's kind of how it goes.
A battle for the lead. Frank Cozy feeling pressure from the 14 of Laubach as they work down the back straightaway. Billy Decker still right there in third. You mentioned the roller coaster ride. It's mentally and physically challenging here on this mile racetrack.
This race is one of the hardest races in the country to run. I've been in different types of cars. To physically run this race and mentally stay on top of your game as far as a driver to pick your setups and pick your stuff, as you see Matt Shepard drive by the one car, boy, it's tough all the way around. Matt's putting a charge on it.
Shepard just took over position number 5 in that number 9S. He was the outside pole sitter here for this Rite-Aid 200. Gary Tompkins in the number 84 right in front of him, riding in position number 4. And David Hebert in the number 1 car, holding on to position number 6. More on our 5th and 6th place cars, down to Roger Slack.
Yeah, guys, Quebec's David Hebert, they pitted at 82, and they are going all the way. An interesting thing down in Matt Shepard's pit, the legendary Steve Payne started Shepard's backup car, made a couple laps, came in, retired from the event, grabbed a headset, and he has been making all the race calls. Down to Sarah Jane Hunt for more on Gary Tompkins.
Yeah, right now on Gary Tompkins' pit, the mood's a little lighthearted. I asked his crew chief, Mike Payne, if they could make it to the end. He shrugged his shoulders. I said, are you gambling? He simply said, tell me who's not gambling here today.
Well, Syracuse is definitely a gamble. Gary Tompkins looking to go 123 laps. Matt Shepard looking to go 118 laps. So 5 laps of difference on the pit strategy, and that could be big at the end of this race.
5 laps is a big difference, and it might cost you 50 grand. The way this deal is working, it's amazing how these guys are running. The speeds are starting to come back towards a pace that might really cost some guys some fuel mileage and some tire wear, and let's see what happens.
Frank Cozy looking to stretch this 129 miles. 129 laps. He pitted on lap number 71. Rick Laubach in the number 14 car pitted on lap number 62. My goodness, Tim, it just doesn't seem reasonable to be able to do that.
It doesn't, but like I said, these guys work really, really hard. I remember a few years ago, Frank Cozy went all 200 laps at Orange County for the Big Middletown 200 that year. So he's no stranger to the fuel mileage. And he's been in a position at this race to win before and had it snatched away with a late race incident. So, I mean, he's foaming at the mouth to get this one.
Speaking of that, that was 1989. Danny Johnson and Frank Cozy battling for the lead in this part of the speedway. They made contact, hit the wall, and then Alan Johnson went on to collect that win. And Rick Laubach starting to apply some pressure to the Cozy number 44. Now, Laubach's got to go a further distance than Cozy. Does he really want to put too much pressure and use that extra fuel doing that?
Well, he doesn't want to, but it's the same thing. These guys, everybody comes here to win this race, and second is great, and it pays really well for second. But when you win it, it's just it's not like a normal race. When you win this thing, it's like winning the biggest race in the country, whether it be the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500. For us, this is our big deal.
The drama and the excitement starting to build to a great conclusion here on the mile. Stay tuned. More of the Rite-Aid 200 here on Speed. Back to the Syracuse Mile, Super Dirt Week 37. Frank Cozy leads the way on lap number 158. Rick Laubach running in position number 2, and getting some information from the pit area. Chris Dolak, media from the World Racing Group, reporting that Pat Ward experiencing ignition problems while Larry White is experiencing motor problems. The Gypsum Express car is having problems here today. That Gypsum team, Ward actually lost the ignition. Larry White loses a motor. Billy Decker with a cylinder.
Like I said before, that's amazing. It's all coming out of the same stable motors, and whether it's ignition, electrical and stuff like that, or a motor failure, that's something that they're going to take a good hard look at, because I know Billy, he's a very competitive guy, and he wants to make sure that all this stuff never happens like that again.
Gary Tompkins, the number 84, holding on to position number 4. Matt Shepard riding back there in position number 5. Battling on the speedway, both seem to be in prime position to make it the full distance of this 200-lap event. Dwayne Howard, David Hebert in that number 1 car, running back there in position number 7. Tompkins out of Clifton Springs, New York, a winner on the Advanced Auto Parts Modified Super Dirt Car Series in 2008, looking for his first Rite-Aid 200.
I'll tell you what, Shane, one thing we did talk about, a lot of these guys, Fuller, Decker, and we got a right rear down on a 99 car.
Ryan Phelps out of Baldwinsville, New York, a right rear sneaker, going south on the Big Red machine as he slows on the back straightaway, as we are going to be under caution once again. A tough break for the Rocket, as he has ran so well this week here on the mile.
Yeah, that's a tough break, and that might be where they're starting to get some tire wear too. We've run a few laps under the green flag. And now maybe guys are going to have to look at that too, and some of them might come for tires that are 10th or 15th just to try to get fresh rubber to run faster speeds.
Frank Cozy continues to lead this race, standing by in the pits about the 44 car. Let's go down to Roger Slack.
Yeah, just talked with Brent Tittle, the crew chief on Cozy's car. They did work on fuel mileage this week. They needed one more yellow just a few laps ago when I talked to him to make it to the end. This could be the yellow that lets them make this real long haul on fuel.
Frank Cozy trying to go 129 miles to win this event. Frank Cozy's been coming here a long. Welcome back to Syracuse as the shadows are starting to set in as we close in on the final portion of this event. 166 laps in the books as we go back to green. Well, Frank Cozy's trying to hold on for another 34 laps as Gary Tompkins hung it out to dry as the number 9 machine of Matt Shepard all over him right now in that battle for position number 4 and 5.
Boy, that was tight off of turn 2. You see Matt got into that dust out of the rubber and just almost got into the fence off of 2. He's really trying to get by Gary because he knows that he needs to get after that 91 car because they think that the guys in front of him are going to run out of gas. So they're all racing Billy right now, but Frank might have snookered them all before this is all over with.
And these guys, their crews and their spotters are listening to the other teams on the radio, so they know that right now Billy Decker may be down a cylinder and they want to go after him.
Boy, I tell you what, if he's down a cylinder, he must have a really good engine because that seems to be still pulling really good. And Matt's all over Gary Tompkins trying to drive by him. And like I said, it's lap 67 now, and there's really going to be some hard racing. You're going to see guys that you just can't keep waiting, and then if you do, it's over.
The number 4 car, Dwayne Howard, riding back in position number 6. Matt Shepard sitting in position number 5. Gary Tompkins in front of them, holding on to position number 4. Laubach took a look to the inside of Cozy. Couldn't make it pay off as Cozy able to keep the lead.
Boy, Rick Laubach is really throwing stuff at him right now. He's really trying to get ahead of him, to do whatever he can do to save some fuel if he can get ahead and win this race.
4 cars, 169.
Listening to the spotter for Frank Cozy, telling his driver where everybody is on the speedway. Cozy drifts up just a little bit. Laubach follows in the tire tracks.
4 cars.
4 car length advantage for Cozy off of 2.
That's a good, comfortable advantage right there. 4 cars. You know he really can't drive in deeper and get in your back bumper or ruffle you up and getting you out of the rubber. He's probably just trying to maintain that advantage the whole time.
30 laps to go. Frank Cozy brings it off at turn number 4. Opens up a little bit of advantage.
Right there. Back it up, back it up.
Hear that?
See what he's telling there? Back it up, back your corner up. Don't run in so hard and just conserve a little bit. Once you get that big lead, that's what you're trying to do.
Billy Decker looks to be closing the gap on the 14 of Rick Laubach. Is Laubach backing off just a little bit?
He might have took a shot at him early to try to get to him, and once he realized he couldn't, maybe he figures he's got to save some fuel right now. He looks a little tight through the corners more than anything.
Cozy started 33rd on the grid, currently riding in position number 1. That seems to be the theme, isn't it?
Yeah, conserve. It's weird. We're at a race where we're trying to conserve. Usually those two don't go together. Race and conserve usually don't work together, but here it does for a while until someone won't let you.
4 car advantage still for Frank Cozy over Rick Laubach as Laubach starting to reel him in one more time. Billy Decker still there in 3rd. Gary Tompkins 4th. Matt Shepard riding in 5th as we bring them down to the flag stand. 28 laps remaining.
Let's get going.
Boy, they're doing some really good spotter work. If you listen to these guys, they're telling them 4 cars they got within 2, and they're trying to tell them to pick it up, and that's real nerve-wracking as a driver.
5 cars.
How important is it for these drivers to have a spotter that is cool, calm, and collected?
The best spotters that do this can really save you a lot of positions when guys shoot up beside you, because if you don't know they're coming, you don't know which way to go to try to block.
Frank Cozy has led since Vinny Vitale pitted on lap number 124. Still trying to stretch it to 129 miles, and you hear him saying conserve, conserve, conserve.
Boy, it's an amazing transfer of information going back and forth. And They are definitely, you can see the lap times. You can see the lap times up on the board. Cozy run a 32.2 and he slowed the pace, and then he had to pick it up and go 32.3 because he was back up to his back bumper.
He'd like to stay around that 33-second mark, wouldn't he?
I think it's a safe pace.
6 cars, 174.
Cozy said before the race his car hasn't felt good all week, but this morning it felt the best that it has. So Frank Cozy, a crafty veteran, this track has changed considerably, and it's come to play into his strategy as we have Frankie Caprara in the FX1 slowing as we are under caution. With 26 laps remaining, Frankie Caprara in the FX1 out of Watertown, New York, brings out the caution. And I guarantee you Frank Cozy has his foot right off of that throttle.
Yeah, he's usually a lot of these races when you're counting cautions like that and the pace car don't pull up in front of you, you kind of speed up to try to knock a couple of laps down before that pace car can slow you down. He's going to slow right down and just putt around.
Frank Cozy looking to stretch the fuel miles to a distance that we have never seen here at Syracuse. Will he be able to do it? Come back and join us for the conclusion of the Rite-Aid 200. More coming up from Syracuse. Welcome back to Syracuse, New York, the Rite-Aid 200, the 37th edition of Super Dirt Week. The drama and anxiety of Super Dirt Week as we know it. Brent Tittle, the crew chief for Frank Cozy, willing his driver, hoping that they have enough to get to the end. Billy Decker's crew, they're down one cylinder in the number 91, hoping their car can make it to the end of the race. Let's take a look at the Rite-Aid rundown. Frank Cozy leads, Rick Laubach second, Billy Decker third, Gary Tompkins fourth, Matt Shepard holds on to position number 5. When we get the green, we will have 17 laps remaining. Tim, this is what it's all about, these final 17 laps. If anybody at home has any fingernails left, I suggest you start chewing them now.
Oh, I'll tell you what, this is what it all changes. These last 17 laps, so many things seem to happen at this race year after year after year, because this is when it's going to be exciting. So definitely keep paying attention right now.
Frank Cozy leads, Rick Laubach into corner number 1 and 2. Billy Decker right there, still trying to close in on the top 2. Decker putting himself prime position if Cozy and Laubach run out of fuel as he sits in third. But he has Gary Tompkins right there behind him, still a little bit of smoke coming out of the number 91.
Like we said about Cozy earlier, he's been in this position before, and the last thing he wants to do is lay back too much and get in that same spot off of turn 2 where he had his mishap to lose this race 2 years ago.
We heard his crew and his spotter telling him conserve, conserve, and that's what he's doing right now. Doing it just enough, keeping the pace up enough to keep the 14 behind him.
Yeah, he's trying to do all he can, and Laubach's getting ready to try to throw caution into win and do whatever he can to win this race, because like we said, he's trying to win so hard. He's going to go so many laps. I just can't believe they can make it.
Cozy sets it up off of corner number 4 as Laubach rides right there in his tire tracks. 2-car length advantage for Cozy, 15 laps remaining as we listen in on Frank Cozy's spotter in communication with his driver on Windgap, Pennsylvania.
See, he tells him there to pick up the pacer 1 and 2 just because that's where he's getting a little run on him is in 1 and 2, and you don't want to take the chance of losing the race in that one spot.
Why? So that's why he would tell him to pick it up in turn number 1 and 2 instead of turn number 3 and 4, because Laubach a little bit slower on the clocks in 3 and 4?
Yeah, Laubach must be able to make a good run through 1 and 2. As you hear him, he's conserved 1 and 2 is where Laubach's been able to make his time and gain on him. 3 and 4 not so much. So Cozy can just kind of coast through 3 and 4. As you see, he had 6 cars off of 4 the last lap and 4 off of turn 2. So that's where Laubach's strong point is, and that's why they're going to try to make sure 3 and 4 is a lot slower than 1 and 2.
If these drivers, Frank Cozy and Rick Laubach, can go the distance, what is this going to do for strategies for next year's race? Because these teams are going to start thinking about that as soon as that checkered flag falls.
The strategy's going out the window right now. As you can hear him, he is pushing right now as hard as he can. They have just run some laps. Laubach run a 32.3. He hasn't run in the 32.3s in like 10 laps, so he's starting to put some pace on.
Lawback starting to apply the pressure to the 44 Frank Cozy. Billy Decker waiting in the wings to see if either one of these drivers have enough gas to go the distance. Cozy sets it up off of corner number 4, taking the short way around the speedway, hugging that inside Jersey barrier, coming down to the line on lap number 188. 12 laps remaining.
That's right there is one of the fastest laps that Frank Cozy has run the entire race. Lawback is putting as much pressure as he can on him now, and Cozy's going to have to force to run harder to stay in front.
Caution on the speedway. Vinny Vitale in the number 56.
Idle, buddy. Idle around here. Let's go. Idle
Coming to a stop as the yellow lights are on. And as soon as that caution light came on, Vinny Vitale able to get it fired back up, but as soon as the caution lights came on, the leaders of the race backed right off the throttle to conserve Vitale with a shredded right rear tire. Oh boy, as the 14 of Rick Laubach slows and limps his way into the pit area, Tim, I'm willing to bet he is out of juice.
Yeah, his crew guys are starting to run down there to try to push him, and man, that's just heartbreak. He has been in this situation 2 or 3 times in the last few years, and boy, that's a tough deal.
According to our estimates up here, he went 126 laps. Wow.
That's amazing. We've seen that out of 358s before, but never out of a big block. That's definitely the most laps on a big block.
You can see the Frank Cozy crew waiting to see as Cozy is looking to get 129 laps out of his ride. And lurking in the shadows right behind Cozy, 4-time Rite-Aid 200 champion, the Franklin Flyer, Billy Decker. He knows what this race is all about. Welcome back to the Moody Mile, the Rite-Aid 200. The drama and excitement coming down to the final 10 laps. Rick Laubach was running second and ran out of gas. Frank Cozy looking to stretch it 129 laps. For more on the 44 car, let's go down to Roger Slack.
Yeah, just down here with Brent Tittle. They are worried about everything, not just gas, but also the right rear now. So I asked him, I said, are you worried about the right rear? He just said, we are worried about everything. I don't think the nail salons down in their area are going to do very much business.
Frank Cozy sees the green flag first as we go back to racing with 9 laps remaining. Billy Decker, we know he has enough fuel to get to the distance. We know he has a problem with the cylinder. Is he going to put pressure on the 44 of Coffee?
He's going to have to. He's going to have to push Cozy as much as he can, because if Cozy's allowed to slow that pace down, he might get a few more laps out of it. And now Tompkins is going to push as hard as he can, because he's got 8 cylinders. He might be able to get by Billy with just more motor.
Gary Tompkins really hanging it out to dry as the laps start to close down. 192 in the books, and Frank Cozy opens up a 0.7 of a second lead.
Boy, I'll tell you, right now it's definitely nervous all the way around, that's for sure.
Tim, I've been coming here for 23 years. You've been coming here since you were a kid with your dad, Bob McCready, and it doesn't get any better than this. I'm getting goosebumps as we come down to the closing laps of the Rite-Aid 200.
I know it. I just have that weird feeling. I can't believe they're going to all be able to go what they're doing.
6 cars, 193.
6 car length lead, 7 laps remaining.
Conserve a little bit. They got a decent lead. That's what they're saying. He's probably a little nervous. Billy Decker, 5-time champ, behind you. Boy, that'd make me nervous.
Gary Tompkins, his best finish in this Rite-Aid 200 was a 2nd place finish. That was behind Tim Fuller in 2004. That all came about when Kenny Tremont ran out of gas, and Fuller and Tompkins both got by him. But now Tompkins looking to get up and race with the top 2, and you hear Brent Tittle saying, conserve, conserve.
You can hear it in his voice. He's really nervous. I'll tell you, Billy's making a run off the backstretch.
Decker closes in on the 44 of Cozy. Cozy outmuscles him. Decker looking to be the 3rd driver to sweep the 358 modified and big block portion of Super Dirt Week. Can he do it? He has 5 laps to try and get around Frank Cozy.
You can tell Billy really is down on power down them straightaways. He can run right up to him in the corners, gain a bunch, and as they get about 3/4 way down that straightaway, he's flat done, and he loses about 6 cars down the straightaways.
Cozy knows that. His crew has probably radioed to him. All you need to do is just keep it smooth and easy. Decker trying to reel him in. Boy, I'll bet you he wishes he had that another cylinder right now.
Oh, I'm sure he did, because he's had a couple of really big runs there. It looked like he could do something with it. And because he's down on motor, he ain't been able to do it. They got to watch out for Gary Tompkins, though. He's right there. If Billy slips up, he's able to get by Billy, and maybe he put a run on Frank, too.
4 more miles here at Syracuse. Gary Tompkins trying to reel in Billy Decker. Decker trying to reel in Frank Cozy. Oh, and Decker detonates a motor.
It looks like he might have broke a cylinder the rest of the way. He's still running, though. He ain't stopped yet.
Decker bringing it off of corner number 4. Just said he was all done. Will he pull it down into the pit area? Decker off the pace in the number 91 car. He will. And Frank Cozy gets a little breathing room. David Hebert is out of gas. He pulls down to the pits.
He pitted at lap 76, so this is going to be tight for Frank Cozy here to finish this race off.
And Gary Tompkins slows on the back straightaway.
Second place car just dropped out. You got a 20-car lead. Slow down. Back it down,
Boy,
Frank.
Tim and Freedy.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm nervous more than there. Listen to this up here. This race has just gotten amazing.
Off the corner.
Come on, buddy.
2 more laps to go.
I'll tell you
Frank Cozy
what.
needs to take it easy.
If a yellow comes out, this could ruin Frank Cozy's chances of winning, because they will go past the 200 lap mark because of the green-white checker.
Oh boy, the drama and excitement as Matt Shepard runs in second, and he is closing in. Dwayne Howard is third, Stuart Friesen fourth, Andy Bacchetti fifth.
6 cars, 199. Come on, baby. One good lap.
Closing in off of corner number 4. Matt Shepard closing right in on Frank Cozy. 1 lap to go.
Boy, he's telling them to conserve. I know what they're saying, but if they conserve too much, that 9 car, Matt Shepard, is liable to put this job on him and get it done. Boy, he's tight off of turn 2.
Off of corner number 2, Frank Cozy sets it up. Matt Shepard trying to reel him in and down into turn number 3 and 4. Brent Tittle willing that car to the finish line. Shepard closing in on him once again in turn number 3 and 4. Frank Cozy wiggles just a little bit. Off of corner number 4. Frank Cozy out of Wingate, Pennsylvania wins the Rite-Aid 200.
Woo! What a finish. Wow, that was a great finish.
129 laps. Frank Cozy, unbelievable, Tim McGreedy.
Find some mud. Try through something. Pick up some mud.
Find some mud. Boy, they're thinking all the way through. They're worried about the scales right now. I'll tell you what a job by Frank Cozy and that entire crew down there in that pit area.
That is impressive. 129 laps to pick up the win for the 37th edition of the Rite-Aid 200. Matt Shepard comes across second, Dwayne Howard third, Stuart Friesen fourth, Tim Fuller fifth unofficially at this point. And look at Brent Tittle and his crew, they are just ecstatic. We will hear from our winner of the 37th edition of the Rite-Aid 200 when we return here on Speed. Frank Cozy goes the farthest of any driver in the history of the Rite-Aid 200, 129 miles on a tank of fuel to win the 37th edition. Let's see how he did it with the Rite-Aid race recap. 46 cars took the drop of the green on a beautiful day in central New York. Matt Shepard started on the outside of the front row. He would lead early on until he came in for tires and fuel on lap number 51. Gary Tompkins in the number 84 would slow on the speedway in turn number 1, bringing out the caution on lap 70. When the pits opened, Frank Cozy came in on lap number 71, filling up with fuel, which would prove to be the difference. On lap 134, Billy Decker in the number 91, looking for his 5th Rite-Aid 200 win, started to show smoke. Rick Laubach ran out of fuel while running second on lap 188. Billy Decker's chances went up in smoke with 4 laps remaining, and this left Matt Shepard to try and run down Frank Cozy. But Cozy had enough in the tank as he would go on to collect his first Rite-Aid 200. Let's go down to Victory Lane to hear from our winner.
Frank And congratulations. I know, I can tell by the look on your face, you are so happy to be in victory lane. How special is this for you right now?
Well, first year I came here, 1976, I didn't even make the race. And they told me to go home and practice and come back next year. Hell, I can't even talk.
I have to ask you about your fuel strategy there. 129 laps. Frank Tittle, your crew chief, was on the radio with you. Conserve, conserve, conserve. How did you guys pull that off?
Well, I got to thank M2. They've had this motor for 6 months, and all we worked on is fuel mileage. We were so good on the heat race the other day. I know we didn't run real well, but we couldn't get that kind of mileage, and we even got a little better mileage today than because of the cautions, and we were more worried about the tire than the fuel. I tell you, them last 10 laps, man, I started crying. I'll never cry. You can't make me cry.
Those final laps, you have guys like Billy Decker behind you, Matt Shepard. How are you keeping them behind you and conserving fuel?
It wasn't easy. All my guys were screaming at me every lap. I was about ready to tell them to shut the hell up. I couldn't think straight, but I'm lost for words. There's so many people with me that did such a great job. Davey Hoffman came with us, my gas guy. Just some I can't even think of the names right now, but I just got so many people to thank, and I don't know. I think I'm just going to stay overnight right here and see if I can make it last for a while. It took so long to get.
You just won Syracuse. Where are you going?
I'm going to Rite-Aid tomorrow, man.
Congratulations to Frank Cozy, Frank Tittle, the entire crew. A very emotional driver. It just goes to show you again, guys, how special it is to win here at Super Dirt Week.
Frank Cozy enjoying the spoils of victory lane here at Syracuse. One man's triumph comes at the cost of another man's defeat. Let's go to Roger Slack.
Down here with Billy Decker. Billy, engine gone with 3 laps to go. How do you feel?
Well, quite disappointed. You know, that's seems to be habit forming, breaking engines here at Syracuse. We're going to have to do something different. Matter of fact, the engine had been crippled for quite a while. Probably 60 laps it was missing. And then, you know, you think it's going to last this long, it lasts till the end, but it didn't. It come apart pretty good, and hopefully never see it again. Because, you know, that's the 3rd time in a row that engine's blowed up on us. Some poor sucker can have it for a boat anchor. And next of all, I'd like to congratulate Frank Cozy on a heck of a job. He's been here, coming here a long time, working hard for this, and I'm happy for Frank.
A valiant effort on 7 cylinders, right up front with the leaders. Did you have anything for him?
Oh, no. You know, he put a couple car lengths on us on the straightaway. We're pretty good through 1 and 2. He killed us through 3 and 4. Matter of fact, we're probably going to get some pressure from behind, you know, come down to crunch time. Them guys be turning up the wick a little bit, and we'd probably be sitting duck in the middle of the straightaway.
All right, well, Billy Decker comes home a disappointing 24th.
Let's take a look at the Advanced Auto Parts finishing order. Frank Cozy picks up the win for the 37th edition of the Rite-Aid 200. Matt Shepard second. How about Dwayne Howard coming home in position number 3?
Yeah, he had a steady day. He ran in the top 10 a bunch, had some good pit stops, and I'm sure they're pretty happy with a top 3 at the biggest race of the year.
Billy Dunn walks out of here with 8th, while Keith Flagg, qualified in the top 6, comes home in position number 9. Behind them, Ryan Phelps recovers from that flat tire to finish as 11th. Brett Hearn, different pit strategy, comes home 12th.
He tried to roll the dice with some topping off and then trying to beat everybody out of the pits. Got caught too many cars behind. Next thing you know, he had to change it all, change tires. It didn't work out.
David Hebert, the highest finishing Canadian, coming home in position number 20. Behind them, Gary Tompkins ran out of gas. He finishes in 22nd. Billy Decker credited with 24th.
Yeah, tough break for Billy. I know he feels, you know, he's happy for Frank. We all are, but boy, he feels bad about the way his chances went down with that motor failure.
15-year-old chauffeur Larry White out of Phoenix, New York, credited with a 33rd place finish, his first start in the Rite-Aid 200. Dave Rauscher out of Waterloo, New York, comes home in position number 40. Vic Coffey, the defending race winner, credited with a 45th place finish. Saturday, November 1st, we hope you'll join us. It's the Vault World Finals from the dirt track at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Advanced Auto Parts World of Outlaws Sprint Cars and the World of Outlaws Late Model. It's a double bill starting at 8 p.m. as the champions for 2008 will be crowned. Tim, another exciting Rite-Aid 200. I don't know how many more of these my heart can take, but I'll tell you what, man, it was a fantastic day.
Boy, I tell you, you're right, and I think at the end of the day, the fan favorite ended up winning. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house when he drove by and took that checkered flag.
Tim, thanks for coming up here and joining us. Good luck in your racing endeavors. We'll see you out on the dirt tracks.
Thanks a lot.
For everybody here for Super Dirt Week 37, what a day! Syracuse, New York, it doesn't get any better than this. Congratulations to Frank Cozy, the winner of the 37th edition of the Rite-Aid 200. For more information, log on to speedtv.com and superdirtcarseries.com. For Sarah Jane Hunt, for Roger Slack, for Tim McCready, my name is Shane Andrews, and we'll see you at the races.